able to gather the strength. You must be able to get the guts as the intellectuals of the black society to say, we are black. Our noses are broad. Our lips are thick. Our hair is nappy. And we are beautiful. And we are beautiful. And we are
Who are you? You don't know. Don't tell me Negro, that's nothing. What were you before the white man named you a Negro? And where were you? And what did you have? What was yours? What language did you speak then? What was your name? It couldn't have been Smith or Jones or Bunch or Powell. That wasn't your name. They don't have those kind of names where you and I came from. No, what was your name? And why don't you now know what your name was then? Where did it go? Where did you lose it? Who took it? And how did he take it? What tongue did you speak? How did the man take your tongue? Where is your history? How did the man wipe out your history? How did the man, what did the man do to make you as dumb as you are right now?
Let's get into the inner workings and the meaning of this. Let's get into the inner workings and the meaning of a black revolution and why black people have a right to take what's theirs. You can read the platform of the program. It's a basic program. And it simply says exactly what black people have been crying for 400 years. One, we want freedom. Power to determine the destiny of our own black communities. Two, we want full employment for our people. Three, we want decent housing to shelter human beings. Four, we want an end to the robbery of the black community by the white racist businessmen. Five, we want decent education that teaches us about the true nature of this racist, decadent system. Education that teaches us about our true history and our role in society and the world today. Six, we want all black brothers to be exempt from military service. Seven, we want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. 8, we want all black brothers and sisters held in federal, county, state, and city jails and prisons to be released because they have not had a fair trial. They've been tried. They've been tried by all white juries who have no understanding of the average regional man in the black community. Number 9, this is where Brother Huey is being caught. We just want the courts to make sure we have peers on the jury, people from the black community as defined by the jive Constitution of the so-called United States. 10, summary with the major political objective. That is, we want land, bread, housing, clothing, education, justice. We want peace. Major political objectives. They want a black plebiscite, UN, black colonial subjects to participate, meeting with, analyzing, rejecting, politically, bomb the racist atrocities.
Welcome to Easy Street.
Now remember, our dear sister Julianne Malvo mentioned A. Philip Randolph. Man, that was a long time ago. And the cry was jobs and justice. In the March on Washington in 1963, the cry was jobs and justice. In the 20-year anniversary of the March on Washington, the cry was jobs and justice. We are now in 2010. And what is the cry? Jobs and justice. Well, wait a minute. How long are you going to sit around begging white people to do for us
out there and identify with thug life. But I couldn't handle it. I could handle it, but not the right way.
Thug life, I mean that shit. Cause these white folks see us as thugs. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if you think you a lawyer, if you a man, if you an African American, if you whatever the fuck you think you are. We thugs the niggas to these motherfuckers. You know, and until we own some shit, I'ma call it for like it is. How you gonna be a man and be smart? You know, and we look to go for our 5 different houses and a man in either one of them motherfuckers. How we gonna be a man? How we gonna be African Americans? We out here thugs, we thugs, and we niggas until we set this shit right. Trust me when I tell that.
Welcome to Easy Street.
Now, you know, we get the wrong pictures of the brothers on the block. You know, in the hood, we see the brothers in their one-dimensionality raw. You know, broad brother, stone complete stud. That's all he is, a stud. Then there's one who's a stone complete killer. He's a killer. That's all he is. Then there's the stone complete dollar man, the more money man, and that's all he is. Of course, once we've been socialized into Euro-American realities, we become more subtle about it. So brothers pretend to really be interested in law school, but they just want to get closer to sisters who they can talk down more heavily. Then there are those who somehow claim to be interested in being in business, but what they're really interested in is trying to get more money. To have more money simply for the purpose of having more money. But they claim to have a business acumen, an entrepreneurial agenda, which is a commitment to the broader cosmological explosion of building economic. They want more money in their individual pockets, and that's it. Now, we are talking about then this process of being preoccupied with one dimension of who we are. Now, to restore black hole men, first of all, we need a conceptualization. We need a conceptualization. And the conceptualization rolls out of a view of who we are from our perspective.
Welcome to Easy Street.
Incredible courage to think for himself, free, against the grain. That's first thinking for yourself. You have to be able to think for yourself. You have to be able to cut against the grain, get the distance from your peer group. And not only that, but you have to have an habitual vision of greatness. You see, you have to believe in fact that you will refuse to settle for mediocrity. You won't confuse financial security with your personal integrity. You won't confuse your success with your greatness or your prosperity with your magnanimity. You have a vision of greatness to something that's luring you all the time for something grander than you. And of course, as a Christian, for me, he who is greatest among us will be your servant. The quality of your service to others. Do you find joy in your service to others? Do you actually believe, in fact, that living is connected to giving? I'll fall on my face. We all do. Cracked vessels, right? Crooked heart, crooked neighbor. How the crooked heart gonna learn how to love the crooked neighbor? That's part of the challenge.
Welcome to Easy Street.
First, I'd like to say, the black man wants ownership. He want to be able to own his own things and make up his own mind. Number one, in the black community, the low-income areas, we need a house. So we don't have to stay in the dump, like I stayed in when I was a kid. Number two, we need hospitals, so we don't have to stand around and bleed to death while some other cat get work done. I mean, this is the way it is. I believe in telling like it is. I don't know nobody words. I'm going to change just like I feel. Number three, we need our own bank so we can get some money to do things by ourselves. We don't want nobody to do it for us. We want to do it by ourselves. We want the bank to be available in the black community. We don't want to go downtown.
Welcome to Easy Street.
To look on the faces of the black youth of this country, I went from one place to another. And they said, Chisholm, we know what you're going through. We know how rough and how tough. But we know you have the courage, the balls, the audacity to shake the system up within the system. And therefore, in unity, there is strength.
Now, the last thing I want to say, don't let the spirit die, don't let the enthusiasm die. Just let's say that this is a wonderful trip that we all took together during the past 7 months, that we have learned from our errors, God knows there are plenty, that we have gained experience, and that if there is to be a next time, we will start a little bit differently because we will have learned and we will be able to continue.
You have to understand, the people have to pay the price for people. If you dare to struggle, you dare to win. If you dare not to struggle, then goddamn it, you don't deserve to win. Let me say peace to you if you're willing to fight for it. Let me say it in the spirit of liberation. I've been gone for a little while. At least my body's been gone. You ain't gotta repeat after me. At least my body's been gone for a little while. But I'm back now, and I believe that I'm back to stay. I believe that I'm going to do my job, and I believe that I was born not to die in a car wreck. I don't believe I'm gonna die in a car wreck. I don't believe I'm gonna die from slipping on a piece of ice. I don't believe I'm gonna die because I got a bad heart. I don't believe I'm gonna die because of lung cancer. I believe that I'm going to be able to die what I was doing, the things I was born for. I believe that I'm going to be able to die high off people. I believe that I will be able to die as a revolutionary in the international revolutionary protest struggle. And I hope that each one of you will be able to die in the international protest revolutionary struggle. We didn't be living, and I think that struggle is going to come. Why don't you live for people? Why don't you struggle for the people? Why don't you die for people?
Welcome to Easy Street.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. Somewhere I read that the greatness of America is the right to protest far right. And so just as I say we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around, we aren't going to let any injunctions turn us around. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm to stand before the God of history, and we will talk in terms of things we've done. It seems that I can hear the God of history saying, that was not enough, but I was hungry, and you fed me not.
And when they lay me out to rest, as I mentioned, I'm 81 now. When they lay me out to rest, may the last voices I hear be yours.
The feeling that the grand American experiment is failing or has failed. I could list the many spiritual which Americans have. Problems which include lack of integrity in government, the feeling that the individual no longer counts, the reality of material and spiritual poverty, 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 spiritual poverty. The American dream need not forever be deferred.
If you want joy, if you want sunshine, it is before you abundantly in nature. I made a selection of sunshine, the beautiful sunshine. I made a selection to laugh at the moon, to laugh at the stars, and sing with the birds of the forest and of the wilderness, to join in the rhythmic music of the winds that sing from east to west and from north to south. Had I selected sorrow, I would have been dead a long time ago, and been without that which would send me into the presence of the divine, because I would have lived not with the knowledge that is divine. We must acquire the higher knowledge of life. I'm only here and not in the gutters and in the pond of despair, because I use my intelligence. And I swear that no man alive shall ever use his intelligence in understanding the works of nature more than I shall rise as high as he ascends. I shall meet him on the same platform of mental equality and fight him till thy kingdom come, because nature created us equal. I want you to make up your mind as I made up my mind years ago. Make up your mind that you will rise to the knowledge of your soul. Because of your ignorance, you cannot understand and decide between good and evil. You don't know whether you're doing right or wrong. With a greater knowledge of life, you're able to appreciate all things around you. I'm able to gather you here because I understand you. Understand your neighbor, your wife, your children, and you will be able to live in harmony with each other and get the best out of life. The early Africans were able to be the fathers of our civilization because they persevered in their object. When we hear the civilization of the Alexandrias, of the Timbuktus, the creation of the black man in the early ages, do we realize that the civilization we now enjoy was handed down to the present century? But the black man went back to sleep and is still sleeping. We are trying to awaken you to the true consciousness of yourselves. You young black men, you young black women.
These are not political criminals. These are people going around stealing Coca-Cola. People getting shot in the back of the head over